Hey, I am back. And, from where I left off last time, I said, hey, I had something to do and I had to come back. But there's no way I was going to come back because I was just too tired, just like I am now. You know, I'm not tired now, but, hey, if I close my eyes, I'm gone. Um, so, but what I would say is that where I left off was, you know, to get into the meat of it is the ancestors are second to none, even though there may be other beings that are higher than the beings who created human or humim or humane or humankind. Um, but what I would say is that the beings that I have been taught about are the beings that are the highest. They are the highest known form of being in all universes, the multiverses, the megaverse. So, because of that, I would say that I'm gonna just assume from the little that I know that the beings that have created, all right, I'll say the superior race of people. All people have superiority, but some don't know it, and some act like the lowest of the low, lower than the animals. But all beings have the power and the availability to and the choice to actually grow themselves to an exponential level of technology, intellect, and everything. So, on that note, I will say that the note of music is where I'm going today. I'm going through music love. I'm going to go through desire. I'm going to go to space. Yeah, space and space connections, love, and then I'll come back around again and end it. But all I would say is that everything is involved in where we are going. Everything. Everything is all. All is everything. And music is a part of all. For they say, or who was it that wrote? I should know the author. If music was the food of love, then play on. Because music and love go together. Many a child has been created from a moment of pleasure, a moment of intimacy between a man and a woman, which has caused the development of a beautiful being to come into existence through literally just the power and soul of what the musical vibrations have put out in the world, in the universe, in our to our ears to bring it to keep it all focused. I would say that everything that I've heard, everything that I've learned, um, has made me realize that music is one of the biggest keys to the development and the development of our species, the development to show that we are different from the animals, we are different from AI, we are different from the angels. For what we have developed right here on Earth has not been developed in other places in the same way. There are people who like to talk about the fact that we are, or we have a shadow of ourselves, which is a whole nother system and universe, and which is the complete opposite of what we are, like the Einstein theory of there is an equal and opposite reaction to the reaction to an action, and the equal and opposite reaction to an action means that that can go out to the universe and actually permeate and manifest itself as a complete other planet, which is on the other side of the sun, or on the other side of the black hole, whichever black hole they're talking about, and be the complete opposite. So there's a person that is like me, there's a complete opposite of me, and it exists doing the same thing with the same inconsistency in my curtain, with the same lampshade, but in the opposite. So yeah, that's that. All that is possible. And the thing is that, you know, from the time we think these things, they come into existence. From the time we imagine that scenario that is different from all other scenarios, or different from the norm, we've brought it into existence. Isn't that amazing? That means that some of the things that we thought about, all of the things that we thought about, have happened. If it's happened in our minds, it's happened in reality somewhere. That means that all the things that we thought about have or will happen. Or, yeah? It's crazy. It's so it goes on, you know. Just to touch on the epiphany that I had back in 2-3 days ago. Our brains, to attempt to put it into form, into a nutshell, for want of a better word, our mind, our brain that is inside this cranium has been created for the sole purpose of being able to be attached to everything in existence, known and unknown. Just the same way we only use barely 10 or 11, 12% of our brain, and all the rest of it is just sitting there like a lump of jelly, not really being aware of anything, or it is actually aware, and we are being controlled through that whole process of the matrical system of assimilation, of assimilation, that we are just one microcosm in, that I am a microcosm as part of, in the whole system of things. And, you know, the closer I get to it, it's basically the closer I get to death, because anyone who gets close to that always ends up in some sort of end of life situation. Hey, if that's it, if that's how things are meant to be, so be it. I'm not giving it condolence, and over my live body will anyone or anything try to take what is not theirs, and also not allow me to express myself in the ways that will help other people to achieve a better understanding of what is out there. No way, that's not going to happen. So I'll have to just talk like I have been, candidly, and like you've heard me doing on this tape, on this recording, because life is so very, very complicated on levels upon levels, that it actually comes down to the simplicity of simply creating something as pure as you can. For instance, when men were created, first of all, they were created by Ninti and Ninhershag, or by Nergal and Riskigal. Nergal and Ariskigal. Nergal and Ariskigal are two scientists that came and created they created man, they created the human, and then with the male they were attempting to make the seed stay in, and first of all the seed would start to leak, because females were the first beings on the first beings, and because they were the first beings, their anthropomorphically different in the sense that they're able to, if that's correct to say, they're able to, or were able to procreate without the use of any male, because males were not in existence. Males came into existence because they wanted to work. They wanted workers to work the field. They wanted a being that had the similar. They wanted a being that had the similar power of mental ability to develop and think for themselves, to enable them to work the ground and mine the gold that was needed for another place which is called Risk, which is in the 19th galaxy, 27th, or solar system or something like that. And take it back and have to be strong enough and are strong enough to do all of the manual lifting work that is required for it to carry it off, basically. And in the process of creating us, men that is, they fell in love and lost their divinity. But how much of that I accept, I'm still growing and developing into that. I've let that sit on my being for a number of years, as in at least 20 years. I've let that whole story sit on my being and allowed to grow and manifest and develop and scrutinize to the point where I can I can see some truths, and I don't have to look at untruths because they make themselves very plain, so I don't really operate like that. But what I would say is that I have definitely looked at what the possibilities of that are in relation to the bigger picture of everything that's going on. Because if you don't, you're just wasting your time, man. I also had to step away from my organization that caused me to take things to a level of overstanding. I didn't know at the time that's what I was doing, but I did it to develop. I did it to really, for the same reason I'm talking about, find out what was involved in life, in real life. I had to get back to life. I had to get back to earning change, which is where I'm comfortably moving to right now, in the sense of making sure that I never want again for anything, and I'm going to be in a position where I'm going to be able to afford anything I want to afford and literally let it and just make it happen, so that I don't have to be in a position of sufferation or anguish or stress or all the things that are along those lines, anxiety, anxious, anymore. No. I rebuke and remove that from my whole being. So what I would say, which is what I keep saying, I don't want to say what I would say, I want to say what I'm going to say, is life is really, 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 really exciting. And the longer I move on with it, is the more that I'm seeing that I should have been on this path way earlier. And I don't mean earlier than 20 years, because it's about 25 years I've been on. But I don't mean that. I mean that I should have embraced what I had then. I should have tested what I had then. And in certain situations, I did test what I had then. And it was really, really powerful. But I didn't know, I didn't have the power to actually be aware of what I was actually doing, if that makes sense. So because of that didn't give me the time, because I was in a community of people who were very what's the word I'm looking for? You know, they were very up and down in their nature, and searching just the same way that I am and I was, where they didn't know whether they were coming or going. They didn't know who to listen to, who not to listen to. And the people who were in charge of shepherding them to a place of a very extremely high potency of information, all the way to outformation with what we were studying at the time. Wow, those people were corrupt. Those people were just as weak. Those people were just as unsure, just as unconvinced, on the verge of, but yet their whole persona was giving off that they thoroughly and fundamentally believed what they were teaching. And we had some really great teachers that were teaching information that is so out of kilt with anything that you know, that you think that you know, that you thought that you knew about existence, and had the proof to back it, regardless of the fact that people say, oh, there was no proof, there was no this, that, no, that. No, the information was right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding, which comes together and gives you NUWAUBU. NUWAUBU is a level of understanding and a way of life that when you sit in it and you become a product of it, which is a product of the product, things change for you. Things change, things grow, things manifest. You see through things, you see through people, you see through situations, and are able to navigate the courses of the waters of life that cause so much issues to come and go and cause you strife and throw you off your path. You start to see the devils that exist. You start to see what they can do. You start to see them do it before they even get a chance to complete it. The only thing that we didn't have, which I still say up until today, is the policing qualities, the policing body to able to really get rid of the people in the organization that were causing disruption and dissemination. And they caused distrust, and they started to thieve. They started to dissuade the people and put negativity into the mix and put egotism and all those things into the mix that caused so much time to be wasted on their antics and their BS, and ultimately caused the breakup of the organization. Yes, and then our master teacher, who ended up inside, what we call inside is in jail. We are the ones that made him end up in there. And his son made him do the time because of false allegations. And he's still inside up until today. And this is, wow, it's 19, 20 years that he's in jail now. So this is not funny, this is not good. Because he is, I'm not going to say was, I'm going to say is, one of the most enlightened, darkened beings that I've ever come across. And I'm not saying I know all the different beings that are out there, because I don't, but the beings that he is and had the power to grow and manifest into is on levels upon levels deeper, more powerful, more potent, omnipotent, more than any others for his time. No others have been able to question him. His name is Dr. Malachi Z York. So back to what I was talking about, because this is why one of the reasons that I think that he had to go away was to allow me to think, grow, and develop into who I am. Because I am that I am, which is a follower of right knowledge. I am a follower of the truth. And if you have it, then you are my master teacher. And I don't follow anyone, and I never wanted to follow. I never had the desire to follow anyone on that type of a level, on the level of information that he was able to put out in the time that he had on this earth. Which, if it was me, not even a quarter of it would have been out, not even a third of it, because he went at it with such a vengeance that he converted millions of people, hundreds and thousands upon thousands of people. Literally, this is thousands of people being converted from his books, from what he read. I'm not sure why the screen goes black like that, but the screen keeps going black, going dark, like as if it's just going to stop recording, but it can't, because I can see the time moving. Anyway, on the level of music, I was going to start writing a book before I even knew the master teacher. I was going to start writing a book, and that book, and I was going to start writing, and it would have ended up as a book, and I don't even know where I was going with it, because what I started to come out with seemed really, I have to find the paperwork again, but it was very intriguing even to myself what I was coming out with. Because music, along with something that I have invented, along with something that, because I'm also, I am who I am now. I am a musician. I am an inventor. I like to work with electricity, and I have some experiments that I'd like to do. I'd also like to build things. I'm a composer of music. I'm an improviser. These are on the musical tips that I spoke about. And the invention that I also I'm a teacher. As a teacher, I've been teaching music for over 20 years. And the establishment that I'm in now are not utilizing me as a teacher anymore, so they're taking away from the power of who and what I am, because of the low life attitude of thinking about me in whatever way she has decided she wants to think about me, and doesn't give myself a chance. So I'm growing and develop and moving on from that whole vibe, and I will do very shortly, because I see changes that I don't like, and I see openings that they decide not to fill with my expertise. And she is a very vindictive and what's the word? Grudgeful being. So many years ago, I stopped conversing or any type of light conversation with her, because many years ago I saw her vindictiveness and her lack of caring, because in her eyes she's looking at the bigger picture, but not taking the time to actually look at individuals and their strengths and weaknesses and what they can do for the whole learning environment. But hey, let's not go into the whole learning and fake environment that schools are set up as anyway. This is something that I can literally break down and go into on levels, but I'm not choosing to do that now because I'm just going to move on with what I want to talk about. So yeah, music is absolutely a communication device on levels upon levels of existence. This is why it was used in the film E.T., where the pinnacle scene at the end where the spaceship was in place, hovering over, as they do in the films. And then the only way they were able to communicate with the spaceship was through sonic waves, which then was organized into fifths and thirds and sevenths and sixths and stuff like that to enable them to communicate in octaves. Da, dee, da, da, da. And that enabled them to communicate with the craft, and then they were able to interpret what the craft was then saying back. And obviously they were able to really amplify what they had on levels that we'd never probably heard of. It was a film, but everything that's in films has a basis in reality. Everything that is in films has a basis in what has already been done or what will be done. Yeah. So as it says in the prayer, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So yeah, so with life now, in relation to music, life has so much that the word life simply is such it's a minute word in relation to what life really is, but it still is, it has its place. We don't have any other word for it at the moment, so we'll call it life or existence. And if people knew that if an individual knew that they were special, more special than anybody or anything else, if they knew that they were all individually 100% special, you are 100% special, and nobody cannot take that away from you, but you don't realize that you have it. You don't realize that you're special. You just think you're just literally like one of the stars, one of the so-called stars that are out there in the night sky, in the shadow hour sky, that allows that we can look at and observe from Earth, thinking that, hey, that's just a microcosm. That's just literally insignificant in the bigger picture of things, compared to how many hundreds of quintillion stars there are out there in space. It's crazy. So we are way more special than that. And I know I'm saying things in my way, okay, so I can only talk in the way that I can speak, and when I can continue to grow and develop, I will, take the levels. It will come out the way it's meant to come out. So yeah, like I said, we're all actually individually so uniquely special because of the love and care that was placed into the DNA and the anthropomorphic and the what's the word? The like carbon. There's no two carbons that are the same. Carbon molecules. The shape is it's what's it called again? It's multi-diverse shape. it morphs into any and everything. That's what we are. That's for every different carbon atom there is out there in the way that it is. That's what we are. That's how diverse we are. That's how diverse our minds, body, and soul, and mentality, and character, and personality is. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And these things are all things that, some human being is going to try and put into AI. Some human being is going to put it into AI and take it to a level where these computers are going to be so real, you will not be able to tell the difference to whether you're speaking to a human being or to a computer or to a bunch of electronic signals, with a loom of a brain that can literally compute billions and billions of combinations in hundreds of trillionth of seconds, in a trillionth of a second, and outdo you, just the same way we have outdone our creators. We've outdone our creators in many different ways, to the point where when we tried to outdo when we attempted to go to meet our creator via the Tower of Babel or Babylon, which also means confusion, he had to come down. We'll just call him a he. Had to come down and destroy it. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, these are things that you have to think about. These are things I'm just putting out there for you to sort of take on board and, add to it. Add to it. I'm really here to help. I'm not here to pretend I know anything. Okay? And I think as the video is now 32 minutes long, I'm going to end the video there. I will end the video at this point, and I will take it up on another day at another time. And I wish you all the blessings, protection, and guidance that you need to get through this life. Peace.